Hey, how you guys doing? Here, going over my special education interviews with you. Um, I interviewed a SPED teacher and an administrator. The SPED teacher was Nicholas Parra from Jordan High School, from my school, and the administrator was Benjamin Broughton. The first question we have is, what are the child find procedures of your school? Um, From the teacher standpoint, so the typical process of our school is that a student undergoes an SST process with a response to intervention. And after the student's done that process, then the committee makes a decision or referral to special education services to determine if the student qualifies for special services. And the committee does include the teacher, parents, and the student. Okay, from the administrator standpoint, so the process of the school is the student goes through the SST process and the committee makes a decision for referral to special education services. So comparing and contrasting these two answers, I mean, they're pretty much the same. The SPED teacher elaborated a little bit more about it, but from looking at both things, they're both the same answer pretty much. So the student has to go through an SST process, and then the committee makes a decision on whether the student or not, when the student qualifies to be a special education student. Okay. Question number 2. So, what do you find to be the most challenging part of your role with regards to special education? The SPED teacher said the most challenging aspect of SPED are the wide range of intellectual abilities. Okay, each student compensates for their intellectual ability in various ways. The most challenging ones are the students that attempt to compensate by acting out. So that's what the SPED teacher said. I agree with this. I'm a teacher. In my case, my classroom, I don't have a co-teacher, so I teach my class by myself, and I do have special education students in my class. Sometimes they do tend to act out, and it is a challenging part. But for the most part, it's their intellectual abilities what we have to worry about in the class and following IEPs and stuff like that. As an administrator, so there's a lot of possibilities about why a child is struggling in school, and they will have to be explored in order to find what is the problem and how is the best way to help the student overcome them. In the end, the actual identification of the problem is one of the hardest things to do. So, two completely different answers here from the administration and from the SPED teacher. The SPED teacher is more student oriented, since he deals with students one-on-one instead of the administrator. The administrator deals with the whole population of kids. The SPED teacher deals with student one-on-one. So, a lot of differences there. The third question we have is, what is the most rewarding part of your job when dealing with special education students, parents, and other teachers, and why? The SPED teacher answered, the most rewarding aspect is when you see a student move past their disability and become their own individual. That's a big part right there. Big answer right there. It's becoming their own person defined by their disability. So these students learn how to positively compensate and overcome obstacles in their way. So, the teacher takes joy in when the student moves past their disability and does different things, or things that they didn't think they could. So, that's a big plus there. The administrators said special education laws and regulations are constantly evolving, so keeping up with these changes can be a serious challenge. The most challenging part is trying to be in the classroom with your students and still getting your paperwork done with it for your entire caseload. So, two completely different answers there. The SPED teacher kind of put it in perspective of his joy of being a SPED teacher, because he wants to see his student grow and move past their disability. The administrator kind of answered with just challenge you with regulation and stuff that they have to do, and going through training and stuff like that. So, next question: what advice do you have on supervision of special educational staff, including parapros, speech pathologists, etc. So the supervision of SPED teachers should consist of making sure that IEPs are not lapsed and finished before the deadlines. IEPs are a big part of education. If you do not follow them, you will get in trouble. Parents get onto you for not going through that stuff, for not following the IEP. If they need extra time, they do have a deadline, so they have to be done by a certain time of the year. If not, they get in trouble. They get fined. So that's a big part of being a SPED teacher. They have to do their IEPs for their caseload on time. The district federal government should look into paying parapros and SPED teachers more for the work that they do. The burnout ratio of SPED and parapros seem to be high, mainly because it can be an extremely challenging job with little benefits involved, especially for parapros. These teachers and parapros deal with trouble students in a day in, day out basis. It's a constant battle as teachers and as parapros, and I do feel that they don't get paid enough. But we have to live the way that we live. We all wish teachers get paid more, and I think they should. The stuff they put up with every single day, especially in some schools, like our school. The school is a Title I school, so very tough. As an administrator, as for supervision, what you really want to see is the special education teacher in the classroom working with the teacher as an equal to provide services for the students. They should plan, prep, and deliver each lesson as a team. As a teacher, having a parapro in your classroom or having a SPED teacher in your classroom to co-teach is a plus. You can do more things. You can separate yourself more. You can combine your heads together and figure out a way to provide for the special education students as well as the class itself. It's, in my opinion, or in my case, I do not have a co-teacher in my classroom like regular classes. I teach Spanish. I don't get one, but if I were to teach science, I would get a co-teacher if I needed one, or math or English. So they need to prep together and come up with a common goal for each one of the special education students. Next question we have is, how do they work effectively with parents of special needs children? The SPED teacher is required to update parents on the progress of their child's IEP goals every 9 weeks. Additionally, every SPED student is assigned a case manager who should keep up with failures, behavioral issues, and notify parents. So for every little thing that they do, the parents need to be notified. Every 9 weeks, the IEP goals are updated. So you got to have a meeting every 9 weeks. So you have 4 meetings in a year for each student with the updated IEP. As the administrators, they need to work as co-teachers equals in the classroom. The special ed teacher is a teacher and is not a babysitter or a teacher's aide. The SPED teacher is a teacher. He's classified and certified teacher. He can teach. He can do the same thing that regular teacher can. He's just working with special needs students. So they need to work together in the classroom. Like I said before, it is a plus to have an extra set of eyes, extra set of extra mind in the classroom. The two answers here, as you can see, they are different, but the common goal is to come in and work together to get their special education student to follow and to succeed. I know for a fact that as a SPED teacher, or not me, I've been to IEP meetings, I've been to 504 meetings, I have been to manifestation meetings. It's a process, a lot of paperwork that these teachers have to do for these students. So You have to be able to work with parents. You have to stay in constant communication with parents. Next question. So how do you work with regular education teachers with students with needs? It says SPED teacher and co-teaching is important to co-plan and collaborate. Differentiation is a key component to the success of co-taught classes. So the administrator, to make sure you're familiar with the law and the school board regulations, special ed, note what a good co-taught room should look like. It's regular ed teachers love the co-teacher. They love having an extra. Like I said, love having an extra set of eyes in class. So that's a big plus there. The two answers are fairly equal. So what advice do you have for first year administrators, SPED teachers? To keep in mind that SPED teachers are having it to juggle a caseload of 15 or more SPED students along with teaching and grades. As for the administrator, the principal's job is to oversee that the special ed department is in compliance with all laws, mandates, and policies. So it's kind of giving you a heads up as a first year administrator to keep in mind that that's a lot of stuff they have to deal with. As an administrator, your job is to oversee that, their job. So to keep in mind of that. Next question, how do they describe the role of the special education teacher and the building principal? So the IEPs include data collection, writing drafts, goal writing, transition plans, and determining accommodations and modifications. As an administrator, the principal needs to know what is going on with the department. They need to be able to identify what a good co-taught classroom looks like. So it's two different answers there, but one common goal is the IEPs and the special education students. Okay, so the principal needs to know what's going on in the department with everything. They don't want to get fined for things that they didn't do. So it's important for them to work together with the special education department. So what characteristics do you seek in aspiring administrators with regards to special education? The SPED teacher says do not place SPED students in the one-size-fits-all frame of thinking. This means that co-taught classes will be different than regular education classes when it comes to intellectual abilities. That's a very good answer there from the SPED teacher. You have got to have an open mind here, not a closed mind. That's when you are administrator. So as an administrator, he said they should have some knowledge on special laws and procedures. Preferably they have worked in a co-teacher classroom and some background in working with the special ed department. So they got to have some type of background when it comes to special education teacher and special education. So like I said before, special education is a very big deal here. We get students every single day that are in special ed. We have got to treat them according to their IEPs, and we as aspiring administrators, we have to know the laws, we have to know the regulations, we have to know what we have to do in order for us to help these students become successful in school. So I had a lot of fun in these interviews, and I learned a lot from both the special education teacher and the administrator. So it's a lot of information that I did not know that I'm glad that I do now. I thank them for their opportunity, and thank you guys for listening.